Imagine leaving a dying world for a secret island sanctuary. Here, the last elephant is reborn. This book gives me hope and helps me pick what matters daily. Friends will find you so interesting. Watch now and read it.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are settling in for something substantial.
Something with a bit of weight to it.
Exactly. We're pushing aside the business biographies, we're shelving the productivity hacks, and we are walking straight into the beautiful, messy, and honestly terrifying world of speculative fiction.
A fantastic world to get lost in.
We are tackling The Sanctuary by Andrew Hunter Murray, and I have to say, right off the bat, this book has been lingering in my head for days. It's sticky.
It is sticky. That is the perfect word for it. It's one of those novels that feels less like a piece of entertainment and more like a premonition. You read it, and you look out the window, at the world, at the news, at the climate reports, and you think,
Oh, this feels a little too close.
we are closer to this than I thought. It sits right on that razor's edge between what if and when.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive isn't just to summarize the plot. It's really to get under the skin of it, to dissect the brushstrokes of the narrative, the ethics or lack thereof of its antagonist, and the terrifying plausibility of its world.
A full masterclass.
A masterclass. So before we even get to the plot, which is, a wild ride involving a remote island and a billionaire, we have to talk about the atmosphere.
Yes, the texture of this world.
Because usually when we say dystopian, we have a very specific image in our heads, right?
We do.
We think Mad Max, we think zombies, we think nuclear winter explosions, high-stakes action sequences where everything is on fire.
Loud catastrophes. Big cinematic apocalypses.
Right, loud. But this is quiet. This is a quiet apocalypse. And I found that so much more unsettling.
It's the entropy that gets you.
Well.
Murray isn't writing about a singular event where the bombs dropped. He's writing about a near-future Britain where things have just stopped working.
I've just frayed at the edges.
It's the great unraveling, but it's happening in slow motion. It's crumbling concrete. It's weeds growing through the pavement on the high street. It's the fact that the buses still run, but they're rare, and the paint is peeling, and nobody has the energy or the money to fix it.
It's a world suffocating under a blanket of apathy, of just giving up.
And it's so visual.
Yeah.
That's what he does so well. The descriptions aren't just about things being broken. They're about things being tired. The whole country feels exhausted.
That descriptions of the bared teeth of the ruined houses really stuck with me.
Oh, yes.
You have this image of society just slowly shedding its skin, revealing the rot underneath. It's the banality of the end of the world. It's not monsters. It's potholes and shortages and just endless grinding queues.
And that fits into a very specific, and I would say very British literary tradition. It's a certain flavor of the end of the world.
You mean it's not just about the external threat?
Not just, no. We often call it the cozy catastrophe. You see in John Wyndham's The Day of the Triffids or P.D. James's Children of Men.
Okay, yes, I see that connection.
The horror isn't necessarily the threat itself, the walking plants, the infertility, but the disruption of the polite, everyday order.
The collapse of civility.
The collapse of the mundane. It's the queue of tired workers waiting for a bus that will never come, that creates this psychological state of stagnation that is almost suffocating. It's the anxiety of the system failing you in small, cumulative ways every single day.
Which is, in a way, more terrifying than a zombie horde.
It's a death by 1,000 paper cuts. A zombie horde is a problem you can theoretically fight. How do you fight crumbling infrastructure and systemic decay?
You can't, you just endure it.
Until someone offers you an escape.
And in the midst of this stagnation, this gray, decaying world, you have the villages. Can we talk about the villages for a second? Because this felt very, very pointed.
Oh, absolutely. It's social commentary sharpened to a razor's edge.
They're these walled-off fortresses for the wealthy, specifically the wealthy elderly. So while the young are outside in the crumbling cities dealing with the fallout, the rich have locked themselves away.
With their manicured lawns and their private security guards and their functioning amenities.
Things that work.
Things that work. It's the gilded cage trope turned up to 11. It's not just a metaphor. It's a literal architectural feature of this society. The haves are walled in, and the have-nots are locked out.
And it sets up this incredible class tension right from page 1. You have the aura of money inside the walls and the desperation outside.
A physical manifestation of inequality. The walls aren't just keeping people out. They're hoarding resources. They're hoarding the past, in a way. the memory of a world that worked.
And this is the world our protagonist, Ben Parr, is living in. And Ben is an interesting guy. He's not your typical action hero.
Not at all. And that is one of the smartest choices Murray made. I think if this story were told from the perspective of a soldier or a hardened survivor, it would be a completely different and probably lesser book.
I agree. So he's a painter.
He's a painter. He's an artist. And because the book is told from his perspective, the narrative voice is incredibly specific. It's all filtered through an artist's eye.
How do you think that colors the prose? Because it's very noticeable.
It makes everything intensely visual. He doesn't just see a room. He sees the way the light hits the dust motes. He doesn't just see a rich client. He sees the pink of a jowl or the specific texture of a velvet curtain.
The prose is lush because Ben's mind is lush. It's observational.
Deeply observational. But there's a downside to that, isn't there? Because he's an observer. He's not a doer.
At least not at the start. He's very passive.
He is passive, and he knows it. This is what I love about Ben as a character study. He explicitly calls himself a coward.
He does.
He says cowardice is a weed scattered through the underbrush of his character. How often do you see a protagonist admit that in the first act?
It's refreshing, but it also makes you wary of him. It immediately sets him up as flawed.
It makes him an unreliable narrator, but not in the malicious, I'm secretly the killer sense. He's just compromised.
Compromised by his own nature.
And by his profession. He makes his living painting portraits of these rich people in the villages. He admits to deception in his art, smoothing out the wrinkles, making a cruel man look noble, making a weak man look strong.
He's a professional flatterer.
Yeah.
He paints what people want to see.
Exactly. So as a reader, you have to constantly ask yourself, is Ben seeing the reality of this world, or is he painting a picture in his head that's easier to live with? Is he flattering the world in his own mind the same way he flatters his clients on canvas?
That's the lens we have to view the whole story through, which is just a brilliant narrative setup.
It really is. It creates a constant low-level tension. Are we seeing the truth, or are we seeing Ben's version of it?
Okay, so here's the setup. Ben is painting these flattering portraits, feeling miserable and unimportant, and he gets a letter from his fiancée, Kara.
Kara, the ghost of the story.
Kara has been working on a private island called Sanctuary Rock, which is owned by the famous philanthropist Sir John Pemberley, and she's been writing these bubbly, enthusiastic letters for months. The work is amazing, we're changing the world.
Full of excitement, full of purpose, everything Ben lacks.
And then the tone shifts, abruptly.
The letters get shorter, colder.
And then the final one. She writes to say she's not coming back. She says, "This work is more important than us." She effectively ghosts him, but with a Dear John letter, or I guess a Dear Ben letter.
And this is the inciting incident. It's not a political assassination or a bomb threat. It's heartbreak.
It's so personal.
It's jealousy. It's wounded pride. Ben sees a TV advert for Pemberley's Tomorrow Trust, this slick, hopeful piece of propaganda, and he snaps.
He decides he's not going to accept this. He's going to go to the island. He's going to save her.
But do you think he's really going to save her? Or is he going to save himself?
Now that is the pivotal question of the first act, isn't it? It's so ambiguous.
On the surface, it's romantic. I'm going to rescue my love. But underneath, it feels like it's about his own ego, his own irrelevance.
There's that painful moment where Pemberley, later in the book, asks Ben how to spell his name.
Oh, yes.
Parr. Is that par as an average?
Ouch. That stings every time I read it.
It's so cruel, but it's also so insightful because that's exactly how Ben sees himself.
It cuts deep. Ben feels unimportant from the wrist upwards. He feels like a tool, a camera for rich people. He's a mediocre artist in a dying world.
So his journey isn't a rescue mission.
I don't think so. I think his journey to the island is his attempt to finally be the protagonist in his own life. He wants to stop observing and start doing. He wants to be significant, maybe for the first time.
To prove Pemberley's assessment wrong.
Or to prove it wrong to himself.
So he packs his bags, he finds a fisherman willing to take him, which is a whole ordeal in itself, showing how broken down society is. And he heads to Sanctuary Rock.
And let's talk about that journey itself, because the pacing here is fascinating. It's not a quick jump cut. It's a slow, meandering journey.
The book really takes its time.
It mirrors the book's atmosphere. It's a slow burn. The bite ride is long. The sea is rough. The descriptions of the water and the sky are extensive. You feel the isolation. You feel the commitment he's making.
And when he finally arrives, he crashes.
He doesn't just dock and walk off.
He literally shipwrecks on the shore.
Which is heavy with symbolism. It's a baptism. It's a death and rebirth. He has to be broken down to be remade in this new world.
He washes up on the shore of paradise, battered and broken, and who finds him?
Sir John Pemberley.
The man himself.
Hmm.
The god of this little world finds the washed-up man on his shores.
And Ben wakes up on the third day. Murray isn't exactly hiding the religious imagery here.
No, he's leaning into it, hard.
He's leaning into it. Pemberley is casting himself as a god, or at least a messiah, and Ben is the resurrected soul brought into his kingdom. There's an immediate power dynamic established, not just of host and guest, but of savior and saved.
Okay, we have to get into Pemberley, because if Ben is the mediocre observer, Pemberley is the great man who shapes the world. He is the ultimate antagonist, but he's so likable.
That is what makes him terrifying. He's not a cartoon villain wringing his hands and cackling.
No mustache twirling here.
None at all. He's charming, he's charismatic, he's physically imposing. Ben calls him bull-like, but he's warm.
He cooks dinner for Ben.
He cooks dinner for him. He remembers details about Ben's life from Kara's letters. He invites him to the high table, which is another piece of, quasi-religious king in his court imagery.
He wants to be understood. He doesn't want to be feared initially. He wants to be admired.
Exactly. He doesn't just want obedience. He wants validation. He wants Ben, the artist, the professional observer, to see what he's built and agree that it's good. That's the seduction. He's building a cult of personality, and he wants Ben to join the inner circle.
And speaking of cults, we have to go there. We have to talk about the Green Martin backstory. This was the moment where the book went from thriller to psychological horror for me.
It's the skeleton key. It is the single piece of information that unlocks Pemberley's entire psyche.
So we find out, through a series of discoveries, that Pemberley didn't just become a billionaire in a vacuum. He grew up in a high-control religious cult called Green Martin.
A proper, isolated, leader-worshipping cult. And he was special within it. He was the boy, born holding the heel, a reference to the biblical Jacob. He was marked from birth.
And the lesson he learned there wasn't cults are bad and freedom is good.
No. Oh, no. The lesson he learned was, I should be the one running the cult.
He saw the flaw wasn't in the model, but in the management.
Precisely. He committed what he calls the first incision. He killed the leader to escape. But instead of rejecting that entire worldview of control and absolute authority, he internalized it. He decided he could do it better.
So Sanctuary Rock isn't an escape from Green Martin.
It's Green Martin 2.0. It's the perfected version. He believes that the world is broken, and only a strong, charismatic leader him can fix it by imposing a perfect, controlled order.
He talks about the botched canvas. This metaphor is so central to the book, and it's what connects him directly to Ben.
It's the core of his philosophy. It ties Ben and Pemberley together perfectly. Pemberley asks Ben, the artist, if you make a mistake on a canvas, a really bad one, do you try to fix the little details? Do you paint over the corner?
And Ben, being an artist, knows the answer. You can't. The mistake will always be there, under the surface.
So what do?
You scrape it, you take a palette knife, you scrape the canvas clean, and you start again.
Right. And Pemberley looks at the earth, the pollution, the overpopulation, the crumbling societies, the chaos, and he sees a botched painting.
He doesn't want to pass carbon tax laws or recycle plastic.
No, that's just painting over the corner. He wants to scrape the canvas. He wants to hit reset on the entire human experiment.
This brings us to the core theme of eco-fascism, which is such a potent and terrifying idea, because Pemberley isn't destroying the world for money. He's not a cynical oil tycoon.
Not at all. He's an environmentalist. He frames his entire project in the language of conservation and love for the natural world.
He's built this biobank on the island, this incredible facility storing the DNA of every species to save them from extinction.
He's a Noah, building an ark.
But his love for nature is deeply, deeply misanthropic. He loves the animals, he loves the plants, but he sees humanity as the infection.
The virus, the mistake on the canvas, it's lifeboat ethics, taken to its absolute darkest extreme.
Explain that. Lifeboat ethics.
It's a classic thought experiment. If the ship of civilization is sinking, and there's only one lifeboat with room for 10, but there are 100 people in the water, what do? Do you let everyone drown, or do you save 10?
And who gets to choose the 10?
Exactly. Pemberley believes he has the moral authority to decide who gets on the lifeboat. And more than that, he's the one sinking the ship to begin with, to force the choice.
And who does he choose for his lifeboat?
The young, the smart, the fertile. Geneticists, engineers, artists. A curated collection of humanity's best and brightest. And himself, of course.
Always himself, as the captain.
As the new god. And everyone else.
They are the rats.
The rat motif is everywhere. It's so skillful how Murray weaves this in. It's not just a throwaway line.
No, it's a recurring story he tells.
The island had a rat infestation when he bought it, an invasive species. So Pemberley, being a man of action, eradicated them. Poison, traps, the works.
But then they came back.
They always come back. So he eradicated them again, more thoroughly this time. He tells this story to Ben, this anecdote about pest control, and you slowly realize he's not talking about rodents.
He's talking about us.
He's talking about the 99.9% of the human population that he doesn't deem worthy of saving. He views the human population as an invasive species that is ruining the paradise of Earth.
It's chilling because it's a distortion of a very real anxiety. We all worry about the environment. We all worry about our impact on the planet.
Of course.
Pemberley takes that legitimate anxiety and twists it into a justification for mass murder. He offers a final solution.
And that's the seduction of the great man archetype, isn't it? He says, I see the problem clearly, and I have the will to do what you are all too weak, too sentimental to do.
You're all debating. I'm acting.
I am the surgeon making the necessary incision to cut out the cancer.
Yeah.
That's his self-perception. He's not a murderer. He's a healer of the planet.
Let's look at the people he has surrounded himself with, because they really reflect different aspects of his control. They're not a monolith. You have Bianca, his daughter.
Ah, Bianca. She is the tragic heart of the story for me.
She really is. She's the bird in the cage. She's cynical, she's damaged, she's sharp-tongued, and she knows exactly who her father is.
She's not indoctrinated. Not like the others. She suspects he killed her mother. She knows he's a monster. She sees the bars of the cage.
But she stays.
She stays. It's a profound look at learned helplessness and coercive control. She's lived in his shadow, under his gravity, for so long that she can't imagine existing in the sun.
There's that crucial scene where she shows Ben the hidden path down the cliff.
Yes.
She knows the way out. She could physically leave at any moment, but she can't.
The mental bars are stronger than the physical ones. Her father's control is so absolute that even knowing the truth doesn't grant her freedom. It's a prison of the mind.
She flirts with Ben, or at least reaches out to him. But in the end, her loyalty to her father, or perhaps her fear of the world without him, wins out. It's just heartbreaking.
It is. She's a study in complicity born of trauma. And then you have the other side of that coin, Angela Knight.
God, Angela Knight, she scared me more than Pemberley did.
She should. Because Pemberley needs the adoration, the philosophy, the grand vision. Knight just needs the work order.
She is the true believer.
The absolute true believer. She was with Pemberley back in the Green Martin days. She's the geneticist, the one running the biobank. Ben describes her as like a half-undone mummy.
What a description. Just dried out, cold, clinical.
All the humanity has been baked out of her by the sheer force of her ideology. If Pemberley is the charisma, the warm, inviting face of the cult.
She is the executioner. She's the one who does the dirty work without flinching.
Exactly. Pemberley needs to be loved. Knight just needs the job done. She represents the banality of evil within the system. She's the bureaucracy of the apocalypse. She doesn't care about the philosophy. She cares about the efficiency of the kill. She is the engine room of this whole horrific enterprise.
And then there's Kara, the reason we're all here.
The ghost.
She's barely in the book, really. After the first few pages, she's almost entirely absent. She's a void that Ben is trying to fill.
But a necessary one. Her absence is what drives the entire plot. We see her devolve through her letters. She starts out as Ben's fiancée, this vibrant person. But slowly, the letters get shorter, colder, more abstract.
She stops writing about us and starts writing about the work.
The personal pronouns vanish and are replaced by the collective. She's been fully assimilated.
She's been fully indoctrinated.
She represents the ideal disciple. Unlike Ben, who clings to personal connection and individual love, Kara has sacrificed her individuality for the greater good, as defined by Pemberley.
So she is the perfect foil to Ben.
The perfect foil. He wants to save a person. She wants to save the world, even if it means destroying the people in it. She has made the choice that Ben is wrestling with for the entire book, and she's made it in the opposite direction.
It's why he can't save her. She doesn't want to be saved.
There's nothing left to save. The Carrie he knew is gone.
Let's move to the setting, because Sanctuary Rock is a character in its own right. It's not just a backdrop.
Not at all. It's an extension of Pemberley's mind.
The first description we get is that it's a single malevolent molar rising from the sea.
It's such a hostile image, not a gentle tropical paradise. It's a tooth, something sharp and dangerous.
And the way Pemberley has organized it, the hexes, He's divided the island into these perfect hexagonal zones, agricultural, residential, the biobank.
It's the imposition of perfect, geometric human order onto wild nature.
It's artificial, it's a grid.
Precisely. He claims to love nature, but he can't let it be wild. He has to grid it. He has to control it. The lodge, his home, is a mix of an old chapel and a modern glasshouse.
The old and the new.
It's a physical manifestation of his complex part God, part scientist. He's trying to fuse faith and genetics into a new religion with himself at the center.
And speaking of artificial nature, we have to talk about Nala.
Oh, Nala.
The elephant.
This is the detail that just broke me. It's so sad and so perfect.
It's the saddest thing in the book. So Nala is the last elephant on Earth, or one of them. Pemberley has saved her. She's on the island in her own special hex.
A single, lonely god creature.
But the twist is how she was raised. She was raised by keepers wearing animatronic elephant suits.
So she thinks she has parents. She thinks she's part of a herd. But she's interacting with machines controlled by humans. It's a complete simulation of a real life.
It's a metaphor for the whole island, isn't it?
It is the perfect metaphor. The islanders, Kara included, think they are living in a paradise protected by a benevolent father. They think they have purpose and community.
But they are just like Nala.
They are living in a constructed reality, manipulated by a man in a suit, or in Pemberley's case, a man in a position of power, who is feeding them lies to keep them docile and compliant.
It highlights the absolute loneliness of Pemberley's God complex. He can't control real nature, a real family, a real elephant. He can only control a simulation of it.
And that artificiality starts to crack for Ben. The facade begins to crumble. He finds the devil's chessmen stones, these strange natural formations that defy Pemberley's perfect order.
He finds the library of locked rooms.
Yes, the archives.
And he discovers the 41st hex.
The hex that isn't on the map, the Bluebeard's chamber, the one place he's not supposed to go.
You can go anywhere, but don't go there. Ben realizes that this paradise is built on a secret, and the closer he gets to the secret, the more dangerous it becomes.
The warmth from Pemberley starts to cool. The invitations to dinner feel less like hospitality and more like summons.
And the climax of the book, surprisingly, isn't a gunfight. It's not a big action sequence.
No, it's a painting session.
It is the most intense painting session I have ever read.
And this is where the literary thriller element really shines. It's an intellectual duel. It's a battle of wills fought with a paintbrush and quiet conversation.
So Pemberley commissions Ben to paint his final portrait. But these aren't just sittings, they are interrogations, they are confessions.
Why do you think he does that? Why does Pemberley want Ben, of all people, to paint him? He knows Ben hates him by this point. He calls him mediocre.
I think because he wants the truth. He has spent his life curating his image, wearing the mask of the benevolent billionaire. But deep down, he knows what he is.
He has a massive ego.
A colossal ego. And he wants someone, an artist, an observer, to look at him, really look at him, and capture the monster and the savior simultaneously. He wants to be seen, truly seen, in all his terrible glory and immortalized.
It's the ultimate act of narcissism. Witness me.
And Ben. This is Ben's moment of transformation. This is where the coward finds his spine. He stops flattering. He stops smoothing out the wrinkles.
He paints the malice. He paints the coldness. He paints the trauma and the fanaticism. He holds up a mirror to Pemberley's soul.
And in doing so, he reclaims his agency.
He finally does. He uses his art not to deceive, but to reveal. It's a powerful statement on the role of art in a time of crisis. Art isn't just decoration. It's a witness. It's a weapon.
During these sessions, they discuss the painting Judith and Holofernes, the biblical story where Judith beheads the invading general Holofernes.
Blatant, glorious foreshadowing.
And Pemberley identifies with Holofernes.
Of course he does. He sees himself as Holofernes, the great, powerful general, the conqueror. He thinks he's untouchable.
But he forgets the point of the story.
He forgets that Holofernes was killed in his own tent, drunk on his own power, by someone he underestimated. He doesn't realize that the blade is coming for him, and it's coming from inside the house.
And then the discovery. Ben finds the bodies. He finds the notebook of Mad Thomas, the previous architect.
He finds Steenson's body.
He realizes Pemberley has been murdering anyone who gets too close to the truth. This isn't a utopia with a dark side, it's a charnel house.
The great man is just a serial killer with a better PR team and a private island.
And that's when Ben and Bianca decide to burn it down. They sabotage the fuel lines, they set the island on fire.
This is the rejection of stagnation. The mainland is rotting slowly. The island is a beautiful, perfect, sterile lie.
A frozen paradise.
Ben and Bianca choose the third option, destruction. They choose to burn the lie rather than live in it. It's a moment of pure, chaotic rebellion.
But as the island burns, Pemberley is cornered, and he drops the bombshell.
The incision.
He tells Ben that it's already in motion.
He implies that the pathogen, the virus designed to wipe out most of humanity, has already been released.
Yeah.
The project isn't about to start. It has started.
He has already scraped the canvas. They're too late.
The fire is meaningless, in a way. The real destruction is already happening, silently, back on the mainland.
And Ben escapes. He runs down that impossible staircase in the dark, a literal descent into hell to escape paradise. And he gets on a boat. He makes it back to the mainland.
But does he win? I mean, that's the haunting question of the end.
I don't think so. That's the haunting part. He's alive. He's free from the island. But he's floating back to a world that is likely infected and dying. He might have just escaped the lifeboat to drown in the ocean.
He survived the prison, but not the apocalypse.
And Bianca stays behind in the burning paradise.
She stays to bury her father.
Why? Why do you think she makes that choice?
I think she chooses the grave. She chooses to die with the lie, with the monster she knew, rather than face the unknown of the dying world. Her whole life was that island, was him. She can't conceive of a world without him, even a world he destroyed. It's a tragedy of Stockholm Syndrome on a grand scale.
So we're left with this massive philosophical question. Was Pemberley right? Not morally, obviously it was a monster, but practically.
The uncomfortable question.
The mainland was dying a slow, agonizing death. Decay, stagnation, hopelessness. Pemberley offered a quick, violent reset. Is a quick death mercy?
That is the core debate. Stagnation versus destruction. Is it better to let humanity rot slowly, losing its dignity and hope bit by bit in a world of peeling paint and broken promises? Or is it better to rip the Band-Aid off?
Pemberley argues for the incision, the clean cut.
He does. But Ben, through his actions, argues for life, for endurance.
Ben argues that even a botched canvas has value. You don't destroy it just because it's not perfect. There's beauty in the struggle. There is life in the decay. You keep painting.
And that is why Ben fights. Because he believes that we don't get to play God. We don't get to decide who is a rat and who is a chosen one. We just have to live and try to make the canvas a little better where we can, even if the paint is running out.
This book feels like it belongs on the shelf next to Atwood. It has that kind of literary weight.
Absolutely. The Handmaid's Tale, Oryx and Crake. It's that level of speculative fiction that's less about the science and more about the human soul.
It asks the uncomfortable questions about power, gender, and environmental responsibility. But the one that really landed with me was about wealth. It asks, what happens when a billionaire decides they know what is best for the entire species?
It's the tech bro savior complex taken to its absolute darkest limit.
It really is.
Yeah.
We see these guys building rockets to Mars, building bunkers in New Zealand. There's a real-world parallel that is deeply unsettling.
And the sanctuary whispers, what if they aren't planning to take you with them? What if their plan for saving the world doesn't include most of the people in it?
It forces us to confront our own reliance on these figures. We want someone to fix it. We want a hero to come along with a grand plan.
We do. We want a Pemberley.
But this book warns us that heroes often have their own agendas, and that the price of admission to their paradise is usually our humanity.
Or our lives.
Exactly.
So true.
I want to circle back to the end, just for a moment, to Ben on that boat. He's alone. He's lost Kara. He's lost Bianca. He's arguably lost the world. But he refused to finish the portrait the way Pemberley wanted. He painted the truth.
That is his victory. It's a small, personal, existential victory, even if it's a massive physical defeat.
He didn't save the world.
He couldn't. But he refused to be a character in Pemberley's story any longer. He reclaimed his own narrative. He chose truth, even if the truth is fatal. He chose to be Ben Parr, the mediocre artist who saw something real, rather than a court painter in a kingdom of lies.
That's a powerful thought, that the victory wasn't in winning, but in refusing to lose himself.
It is. It reminds me of the quote from The Tempest that the book references, "Be not afeard, the isle is full of noises."
Yes, from Caliban.
In Shakespeare, that's a moment of wonder, of magic. Caliban is describing the beauty of the island. But in The Sanctuary, the noises are the machinery of death. The magic is technology used for genocide. Murray flips the script on that quote entirely, turning something beautiful into something sinister.
So, as we wrap up this masterclass, I have a question for you, a provocative one.
Hit me.
Put yourself in Ben's shoes at the start. You're on the mainland. It's gray. It's miserable. The food is running out. The electricity is failing. You have no future. And Sir John Pemberley shows up on his shiny boat and offers you a ticket.
Okay.
He says, come to the sanctuary. You can live, you can paint, you can be safe, you can eat fresh fruit. But you know the price. You know it means turning your back on everyone else, that their demise is the cost of your paradise.
Do I take the ticket?
Do you take the ticket?
I mean, the person I want to be, the person sitting here in a comfortable chair, says no. Absolutely not. I stand with humanity. I fight the good fight. But when you're hungry, when you're scared, when you see the world ending right in front of you, not as a thought experiment, but as your daily reality, the temptation of the lifeboat is overwhelming.
It's the ultimate test.
It is. And that's why the book is so effective. It doesn't just judge Pemberley. It forces the reader to judge themselves. Would we be Ben, the reluctant hero? Or would we become Kara? Or maybe even Angela Knight, just trying to keep the lights on and following orders?
That is the question that's going to keep me up tonight.
It's a question we might all have to answer, metaphorically, sooner than we think. What are you willing to sacrifice for your own sanctuary?
Well, on that terrifyingly cheerful note, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. The Sanctuary by Andrew Hunter Murray. It is a heavy read, but a beautiful one, a vital one, I think.
I agree. Go read it. Look at the brushstrokes.
And watch out for the pink in the jowls.
You never know what's hiding underneath.
See you next time.